Grenades in Airsoft explained. When you get to clear rooms in CQB Airsoft games, you want to have a grenade. But in Airsoft, a grenade is a relatively broad term since there are a few ways to make a grenade effect happen without actually hurting anyone. There are several types of grenades depending on their power source, effectiveness and reusability. These include spring grenades, pyrotechnic grenades, gas and CO2 grenades, and also electronic ones. But before we actually dive into details on different grenade types and why are they useful, we need to understand the most common rules regarding the use of grenades in Airsoft games, as they often determine which type you want to get. In most cases, you can encounter one of two basic rule sets for grenades. First one, at least on paper, is fairly straightforward. If you throw a grenade near someone, a BB has to hit that very player. That means the grenade has to be actively ejecting BBs into the surrounding, and every other type only counts as distraction. In reality, it also means the BB needs to have a certain velocity and power, so that the player can actually feel the hit. The problem, however, is that with some of the most common grenades, that is not always the case. Spring grenades, for instance, don't have much power when it comes to throwing BBs around, meaning you can potentially run into some drama on whether the grenade actually hits someone or not. Now, the safer bet is using the grenade in radius of effect mode. This is perhaps the most common way of using grenades in Airsoft, as it is relatively simple to understand and follow. If a grenade hits anywhere within, let's say, 5 meters of you, you are out of the game, regardless if a BB hit you or not. In a CQB, this rule may be extended to whole room, as if it was a real-world situation. The shockwave would have bounced all around the room either way. On some fields, this rule is further specified by saying that the grenade has to simulate some sort of an effect, be it an explosion or BBs ejecting everywhere. Besides these sets of rules, many fields straight up ban pyrotechnic grenades. And in all fairness, that is not surprising. They are very loud, which often disturbs the area around airsoft fields, and more importantly, they are not safe for your hearing. Therefore, it is a good idea to only allow these when all players agree on using hearing protection, which is not always easy to do on a regular game. Now, why would anyone want to use pyro grenades? Well, for the very reason they are banned in most places: the realism. It adds a great deal of immersion into the game as they look and work exactly like the real thing. With pyrotechnic grenades, your gear just looks complete, and in the case of tagging grenades, you get very good reliability. Moreover, most of these work with time fuses being very true to their real counterparts. On the contrary, you may also encounter homemade pyrotechnic grenades in all shapes, sizes and powers. These are often the most dangerous things you get to see on an airsoft field, as someone just made them who knows where. For your own good, we would strongly recommend you avoiding these if you don't know the people or trust the people who made them. Now, it is a good time to mention the price, because it will be important for the upcoming part. Proper pyro grenades can cost around 10 to 15 bucks, meaning that you get a full bag of BBs to last you for a few games for the price of one non-reusable boom. That's why these are mostly used in milsims and by hardcore players that don't mind paying extra. For more regular games, the vast majority of people choose between gas, spring and sound grenades, of which gas and spring grenades are the most common ones. This mostly boils down to a combination of game rules: price, reliability and durability. Spring grenades are among the cheapest grenade options out there. They cost just around 15 bucks, but you can reuse them quite a lot if you throw them around gently. Yes, they are not the most durable solution, but for most people, the fact that you don't pay much and only need BBs for refilling is all it takes, especially when BBs don't actually have to hit the player. They are well usable for regular weekend games and casual players as well. The ones you will likely see the most are gas grenades though. And by gas, we don't mean the smoke grenade you are used to from video games. These take BBs and airsoft gas just like your pistol. Similar to the spring grenades, they are also reusable, and popular types such as the Apocalypse can last for quite some time, even if you give them a fair beating. Overall, they are considered all-rounders in the industry. However, it doesn't mean they are perfect. They are more expensive to buy, you need to fill them with gas, and the risk of leaks is always there, especially if you throw them around hard. Regardless, every serious airsoft player will likely have one or two somewhere in their gear bag. An interesting mention in this category is the Vulcan Thunder. These grenades are somewhere between a gas grenade, since they use CO2 as their propellant, and a pyrotechnic grenade, since they literally explode. The way this works is you have a reusable steel core that holds one CO2 cartridge and non-reusable plastic shell around it that is screwed into the core. Then when you throw the grenade, the plastic shell literally rips open, letting out BBs while the core stays intact and reusable. Given that the CO2 cartridge that gets used up during the explosion has about the same pressure as diving into 500-meter deep water, releasing all this power all at once is very loud and does feel a little bit uncomfortable. The great thing about these is that they work quite realistically, and you only need to buy the outer shells, not the whole grenade, which makes it quite a bit cheaper. One of the least common types of grenades, though, with great potential, are the sound grenades. These operate with electricity or again with gas. Gas sound grenades have the same attributes as a regular gas grenade, but without BBs involved, making them a bit safer, more compact, and around the same price point. The innovation here lies in electronic grenades. When you pull the safety on an electronic grenade, you basically connect a battery to a speaker, and within a few seconds it goes off. This starts a loud sound that lets players know that they are in the area of an airsoft grenade, thus being hit. Even though these grenades are not as realistic, they are affordable, reusable, easy to use, and provide a good experience for your regular games. These were the main types of airsoft grenades. If you are wondering what my favorite one is, check the comments and leave your opinion there as well. I'm curious what you guys think.